Good to be with you on this Wednesday. The Lord is so good, and I'd like to talk about the right kind of attitude. You know, as we navigate all kinds of things in our lives, our attitude makes them either really hard to navigate or actually not so hard. If we really trust the Lord and have a positive attitude, it's just amazing how God will lift the load and give us a joy in even facing the hardest things. In 1 Timothy chapter 6, there is a great warning here from the Apostle Paul to Timothy that the people there in Ephesus, along with himself, need to avoid trusting in material possessions and just the things of security that this world has to offer. And it says in verse 6, I think, a very important perspective. But godliness with contentment is great gain. You see, we have been exposed for how much we have trusted in what we have, the comfort zone, the things that give us security. And Christians have been somewhat shaken because we know that our prosperity as a nation at some point is going to start to crumble. And many believers have been facing different difficulties themselves in different regions of the country. And we all have that sense that our security may go away. Well, if we can right now realize that living for God, having His life, being godly, only He can do that for us. If we can live for that with contentment, that's great gain. In other words, spirituality over temporal things. You know, some of the most contented people I've ever met have been in third world situations that had very little, but they loved God and were thrilled with how God took care of them, and they were serving the Lord and seeing people saved and their lives being used mightily. I've seen people in all kinds of situations through great trials, content. This is what God wants. But the reason they could do that is that they were living out Christ in them. God was manifest. God was meeting the need of their heart. And my friends, that is what is great gain. And so we need to practice right now before maybe we do have to struggle a little bit more financially. Let's be content with what we have. Let's get our priorities right. Let's rejoice in all the good that God has given to us. And when trials come, don't let them throw us. Let's learn to have a right attitude. And then if bigger trials come, by God's grace, we will have learned how to respond. And may indeed our testimony be that we have great contentment because we're godly and we realize that's the greatest thing we can ever have.